It's Ronnie, and welcome to Woodgrain in Winter, hosted by MK and Janet. And all you have to do to join in on this is use some wood grain. And today I'm going to use it for my background layer. I'm going to scrap those two photos right there. And see this die set? It is a challenge from a friend of mine to use it on a layout. When I used to do a lot of cards and videos for cards, there was lots of challenges and they were fun. They would send you something and make a challenge. Well, she sent me this die set to make a challenge with me for. And I used the bow, well, two bows off of there. And the Spellbinders die set, it's a garden something. I have never used the flowers though. I am going to use the candy cane paper for my gift. And I thought I'd round the corners, just so I wouldn't have such sharp edges on my gift here. And I cut me some triangles in advance, very skinny triangles. And I'm going to put this first one down on the side, and I go all the way in, and I don't like it. So I scoot back a little bit. I don't like it. I think I scooted back 3 times before I liked the way it looked on the package here. And so the other side's going to come easier because I already practiced with that first side there. And I am going to put a bow in the middle. But yeah, I wanted a nice big package on my layout. And the bow's going to cover up all the misfortunes in the middle. I'm using that big bow first, and it does have some cutouts. So I inked the cutouts too. And then I hadn't inked yet, had I? And I totally forgot to ink the parts that I already put on there. If I hadn't used liquid ink, I probably would have pulled it up to ink. But I just threw some on here and there to give it a variation. But there is cutouts, like I said, and so I'm lifting them up and inking there just so it looks like a little more dimension to the bow. I did not think about it until I was editing the video. I could have put foam tape under those parts and made them stand up a little bit. I'll probably do that the next time. It came in a set of bows, and I have cut it out, and I've used it before, but I didn't notice the cuts till now. I put it on foam tape, and then this other one, it is the other bow. It is just all like one layer. There isn't no cuts in it or anything that I could put foam tape on. I will put a peppermint thing on there at the end. I have one left, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to put it back in the packaging. I'm going to put it on my layout. And I ended up putting it there. These are my 2 photos, and you might have seen me scrap that top left one last year. And I said that wasn't my son. Come to find out after I made the layout, they told me, yeah, that's him. They just got more stuff, so the background was fancier for his photos. But Santa Claus was there also. And so he got on Santa Claus' lap. So my uh, challenge here is to do this die set. It has no eyes, and it says Merry Grinch Muss. And on the internet, it has an SVG file at like freedownloads.com, just like it. So if y'all wanted it, you could go on there and get it. Or if you wanted to die, I'm not sure where to get that. I didn't actually see any die set. But if I find out, I will put it down there below for you. Anyway, it has no eyes, so I'm going to have to make my eyes. I did cut the nose out in 2 different pieces, darker green and a lighter green. But look at all that ink on my fingers. I look pretty messy already. I cut 2 ovals out, and then I laid them together and cut across to make my eyes flat on the top. And I used a 1/4 inch punch for the lighter green here, and then the darker green that I'm going to put on in a second is a 1/8 inch punch for the pupil. Instead of making the pupil black, I am making it a dark green. One side of it's red and one side of it's green because it was pattern paper. And I'm just going to use my, what do they call that piercing tool? piercing tool to put them on the other part of the eye. I did ink around the outside of the yellow there to make it a little bit darker. And here is that chin piece that's cut. I cut a couple extras, trying to decide what color I want. That background paper that I'm gluing it to is Colorbach, and I think it's called painted papers. Anyway, it's not solid. It's got blotches of paint. Maybe it's paints is what it's called. I don't know. Anyway, it was very. I've had it many years, and this is a scrap. And I cut the paper out of a different paper for the die cuts. And I was trying to decide what color I wanted. And I had extra of them, so I decided to make eyebrows out of them. And I'm just going to put them attached to the eye. And I did ink them a little bit. And just to give them a little bit of shading. They're not exactly alike because I cut them from, one's a left, one's a right, and I didn't have a left and a right. I could have turned the paper over, but I wasn't purposely making eyebrows at the time. I was just using my scraps of what I was deciding. I kept getting darker and darker. And so, yeah, I cut two because it was thin paper. And I think I cut like 3 or 4 colors of green before I decided on this green. I wanted to kind of match the Grinch in the photos. And here's the hat, and I inked the white part in a light blue. It's heavenly blue. And then I inked the hat too. And it's little. So I am taking a pencil and drawing. Well, I just marked where I wanted it. I should have drawn all the way down to the die cut, but I didn't, because you will see me make a mistake. So don't do as I do. Think about it before you go cut. See, I cut straight down to the edge of that, and it didn't match the other side. So I cut a little bit more off the other side, and they still don't quite match, but I think it's okay since he's the Grinch. He might be turned a little bit more one way than the other, but I didn't want to cut any more off. I thought, nope, I'm stopping there because, yeah, I goofed, and I'm just going to go with it. It's on my layout. Now, if it's still been making stuff for my partner, chances are I would have done it over. But I've got me a Grinch face, and I will use most of the Merry Grinchmas. And see, all of it's there, but I'm just going to use Merry Grinch Shenanigans. And I'm not going to use the MAS part. And just run it up the side. And that bigger letter is the Spellbinders, and then the other came with the Grinch dies. The challenge dies my friend sent me. I don't know if it's counted as me meeting the challenge or not, since I didn't use the MAS. I didn't even think about that till just now. But yeah, challenge to use it on a layout because technically it was made for a card, and yeah, it wasn't a complete Grinch. I'm going to work some holly into my layout, holly and berries. And that film strip there reminds me of a window. And I thought, well, that'll look cute behind the Grinch. So I am putting it up in that corner. And I did angle the pictures a little bit. I'm not angling that. I thought, no, it wouldn't look as much like a window to me. So I just went ahead and left it straight. So I will leave the item I put down in the bottom left straight. But yeah, I'm running the holly and berry up the side. And this little ornament, I know there was two in that tray and I didn't use the other one. But I couldn't find it. I probably just kept looking over it. Or maybe it's turned upside down and looked different because maybe I fussy cut them out. I don't remember. Uh, yeah, well, it's green on the other side, so maybe it's a die cut. Anyway, I am going to hang it on my window and cut it off right where it ends on my window or camera frame things. I haven't never seen any quite like that, but there probably has been. But it does remind me of a window, as I said. I'm putting foam tape beneath the Grinch so that he can sit up a little. And one side's not going to get any since I'm going to put it on top of the garland just a little bit. And the bottom left-hand corner, I wanted it to kind of go off my packaging. I like things to spill off, like in the upper right-hand corner, it is spilling off. And it will be spilling off on the right because I like it to go over the grid. And so I'm going to have it come over my title just a little bit. And the item I'm putting here is that letters to Santa mailbox thing. So cute. Anyway, this is the big one. There is a smaller one, but this one is the big one. And this is a photo of my son with Santa. My son is 6'4", so he's a pretty big guy to be sitting on Santa's lap. But I'm going to put Hello Santa right there and angle it the same angle that I have the photo. And one of the chipboard stars. I'm going to add a few more stars to the layout. I think most of the other ones are going to be black. I know I'm going to do a green one. I was using whatever was in that tray left over from another time, except that square you see right here, right now. I will use another black star that's about that size. I think it's the same size that I pulled out last time. And it was like all stuck in there. It wasn't coming out like it was supposed to. But I will tear off the backing that didn't cut all the way through and just make it a thinner piece of chipboard on this layout. So I will end up using it. See, where am I at now? Oh, I think I'm pulling off. Yeah, that's where I pulled all that stuff off of the back of it. But it made it on a layout. And nobody will even know unless they're watching this video that half of it got thrown away. But this one comes out just like it's supposed to. And I'm just going to kind of tuck him underneath the Grinch. And, oh, this is a green one. I don't know if there was more green ones or not. I don't remember using them on a layout this year. But that was the only green one that I could find because I might have used a little more green since it is my Grinch layout. But one worked, and I need a little black on here since this is going to go in that album that's Christmas 2023. And I found a little letter that says Santa Claus, so I just kind of tucked it underneath the edge of my little post mailbox. Yeah, I was going to say postal box, but no, mailbox right there. And oh, just a wee bit more holly. I'm cutting them apart a little bit now and just tucking them in places. Just add a little bit more greenery. While I'm doing that, I want to mention that down there below you'll find the playlist for Woodgrain and Winter. Oh, and my background piece is Craft Consortium from the paper pad. But yeah, check out that playlist down there and you will find lots of wood grain layouts or with a little bit of wood grain on them because you don't have to have a certain amount. You just have to have some on your layout. And oh my goodness, I just noticed I didn't use my white gel pen on my Grinch. I'm going to have to go back in there and put some white highlights on him. They will not be in the photos at the end because I've got all this done already, and you will have to imagine it there. Like I tell my kids and grandkids if they're looking at a scrapbook layout and they'll say something's crooked, I'll say, you know what you're supposed to do? Just angle your head to the left or right, whichever one will help make it straight. But yeah, there's the end of my layout, and I had a lot of fun making it and meeting my challenge of using that die set. And it is a cute little die set. That hat is so tiny on his head. It's just adorable. And let's see. And there's my Hello Santa. And like I said, I angled it with the photo so that I could go right along the edge there. And then I got the postal box, the mailbox. I keep wanting to call it post because it says it on there. Letters to Santa post. And my letter there to Santa, and you can see that I think that's the one that doesn't have the back, the star, the black star. And there's my title, Merry Grinch Shenanigans. And there's my bow. And like I said, I did right at the very end put a piece of peppermint there in the middle because I was determined to go ahead and use it instead of putting it back in the packaging. And there's my Grinch with his wonky eyebrows and of course his green on yellow eyes. And he's got a big smile on this little Grinch guy. But that's it. That's my layout. I want to thank you all so very, very much for joining me while I created it. And I hope you have a happy, scrappy day. Tomorrow, it will be the Secret Santa with the embellishments. Bye.